is Access Door County, and I am your host, Victoria Cerinich. On this program, we will speak with the members of Leadership Door County and learn more about that. With me are the Vice President and alumna of the first class of Leadership Door County, Gay Pustaver.
Hello.
And Anni Lampert, who is the Program Coordinator and alumni of the first class of Leadership Door County. Both Gay and Annie are residents of Sturgeon Bay. And we have Lori Vorpahl. Thank you, Lori. And you are a member of this year's class of Leadership Door County.
Yes.
Welcome to our program today.
Thank you. And thanks for having us. We really appreciate this opportunity to get the Leadership Door County story out. We seem to be one of the best kept secrets in Door County, even though we're in our 25th year. We're approaching our 25th year.
We've had 25 graduating classes as of 2014, so that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us then, it's 25-year history. It started, what,
In 1989, the fellow who was, at that time, the executive director of what was then the Door County Chamber of Commerce, attended a conference of executive directors of chambers of commerce all over the nation and came back with a concept that he was very excited about, which was community leadership programs. Communities throughout the nation had realized that they were having a problem finding enough motivated, intelligent, driven people to run for school board positions that were remaining open, for town and city councils, for a lot of boards of directors that needed new people to come on. They just were not able to find enough people to man these,
to fill those positions.
To fill these positions.
There were empty seats.
Yeah, there were a lot of smart people in town, a lot of motivated people, but when they approached these people, they responded, well, I just don't feel like I know enough about this part of the community or that part of the community. I know a lot about banking because I'm a banker, but I don't know much about education. I don't know much about healthcare. So chambers got together and they thought, well, you know what we should do is create a program that exposes folks to all these different aspects of the community. So when they're at the end of it, they've got a really good idea of what goes on all over the county, who does what, why they do it, who they do it for, and what goes on.
So as program coordinator, that's what you do. You look at all these different facets, or you establish the training for each of these different parts of the...
Because I happened to be employed at the Chamber of Commerce at the time and was the staff member that was the liaison to the membership committee where this concept was tossed when it came back from the conference, I was one of a number of people who did the research and found out about other community programs that were emerging in other places. And here in Door County, we were taken under the wing of the good folks in Green Bay, who had a well-established community leadership program. And they taught us a lot about what we should be doing, what we should be covering, who we should be talking to, and the kinds of things that would help the folks who were going through the class become more confident leaders.
So you were a member of the first class, and Gay, you were a member of the first
Yes,
class.
I was a
What's
member
your
of the first
experience
class.
in the history starting up the Leadership Door County?
Well, I can't remember exactly how many there were of us in that class, 11 to 15, something like that. But we were the first class starting in September of 90 and graduating in June of 91. That took on that first Leadership Door County sort of role. At that point, the board set up all the sessions once a month, and it's still, I think, the same Tuesday of the month that we go.
Yep.
So it's a commitment of one day a month, but we traveled to different places in the county, and at each one of those locations studied different topics that had to do with the whole county. So I learned a lot more than I ever thought I would going to those sessions. And then as well, we chose a project to do for the class. Every Leadership Door County class chooses a project that they can work on and hopefully get done during their 9 or 10 month tenure in Leadership Door County. And it's some sort of project for the community that they become aware of and choose as a group.
So that's a service even that Leadership Door County provides.
Yeah.
You in exchange for these businesses or these not-for-profits sharing their inside story, their back office, you provide a service.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it, and we're sitting right next door to one of the Leadership Door County projects, which is the handicapped accessible elementary equipment on the playground, right here at
Here in
Sebastopol
Sebastopol.
School. That was one of the
That was a
classes.
class of 2006, that was
Yes.
their project.
That was their
The
project.
volunteer center was also started by a class of Leadership Door County, which
As
we
was
just-
the Big Brothers Big Sisters, as was Third Avenue Playhouse, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yep.
So Lori, this is 2014, and we've learned a little bit about the history. You're in a class, so there are other team members.
Yes.
And have you looked at your project or your
Yes, we
program?
already have our project selected, and it's already underway. So what we're doing is a project with Right On Door County, which is located in Juddville.
Terrific. We have had a program with Door Shakespeare and
Yes.
American Folklore Theater and Door Shakespeare are doing a project with Right On Door County.
Yes, and our project is, we're doing a twofold project. The first part of our project, we're doing what we call ourselves the Trailblazers, because we're going to go in there and help maintain the property and get the trails back in order, because I believe it's a 7-acre parcel that they now have to have Right On Door County located, and there's a house on the property.
And where is that? That didn't come up in a previous interview.
Yeah, it's right on Juddville Road,
And off of 42.
off of 42.
Off of 42, okay.
Yes, and so anyway, they have a parcel on each side of the road, and then what we're gonna be doing here is actually starting this week. We're gonna go in and start clearing the trails and cleaning up and, get our clippers, and we're gonna put mulch in, and we're gonna clean the place up. And then while this is going on, we also have a call for submission, because we're gonna be printing a book. And what this book is gonna be is, it's for any experiences inside Door County. It's going to be a short story or a poem, anything 200 words or less, and we're going to get those together, and we're going to publish a book, and then sell the book, and all the proceeds will go to Right On Door County.
To Right On Door County. And this is called What's Behind the Door.
Right.
So it's the
That's great.
story,
I love
it.
the story behind.
Living in Door County experience, whether it's your daily life or whatever, something having to do with Door County. And so it can be, personal story, it can just be poetry, it can be anything, 200 words or less. And we've put this out a few weeks ago, and we are getting a tremendous amount of
bet.
responses, so we're really excited.
So Leadership Door County this time is looking at the back offices or the back relationship with Right On Door County. So they're the ones that are more or less mentoring your class. That and maybe the gardeners that are helping you
Yeah.
cut the weeds or something.
Yeah.
It's more like you guys are providing a service to
Yes,
Right
to
On
them.
Door
Oh,
County.
okay.
Because they're not presenting during the course of the year. They're receiving the benefit of
Yes.
the project. So
Okay.
they're not really mentoring.
Okay,
You guys
so,
are.
and that's what I'm trying to find out, because there are things you're going to learn. And I was just, how is that structured, the learning part? lessons.
There's a series of 10 full-day sessions, as Gabe mentioned, and we devote each session day to a different topic area. And there was indeed a day devoted to the arts. And there's another day devoted to healthcare, another to human services, yet another to government and the legal system. There's one on the economy, and the list goes on. And as you can imagine, in each given topic area, there is a lot to know. So we cover as much ground as we possibly can, and we talk to as many people as we possibly can, but there's just no way you can get to everybody and do everything, particularly when you come to things like the arts. So although we did have a terrific arts day, it did not include Right On Door County, but they had established their project a couple of months before we had Arts Day anyway. So there were members of their class who had knowledge of Right On Door County's need for some help, and that as they were going through the process of deciding on their project, that's how they arrived to that.
So when you say it's a one day a month, do you mean a full day of the week?
Yes, we
So
do.
people must really arrange their schedules in order to accommodate this, because I'm sure that you want people that are from all age spectrum, if possible, so they may be full-time employed.
Yes.
So it really takes a bit of sacrifice for
It's
someone.
a major commitment, and we make that as abundantly clear at every possible aspect of letting people know about the Leadership Door County program. It is indeed a significant commitment of time. You are carving out a full day once a month, which means your employer needs to know about it, or if you own your own business, your employees, your family needs to be involved. So that everybody knows that on the second Tuesday of each month between September and June, you are not available.
And in addition, the actual September and June commitment is 2 days, because the opening retreat is Monday and a Tuesday, and the closing retreat is a Monday and a Tuesday.
So at a retreat, how is that? What
The
takes
opening
place?
retreat, we usually have a day that's dedicated to communication, getting to know each other, team building, a lot of interactive exercises, talking about what's involved during the year, getting them talking about their project and that sort of thing. And then they go to the Team Leadership Center over here and do some activities there the second day. And it's pretty much the same thing, only it's a wrap-up for the closing retreat. And we have graduation as well after that.
So the retreat takes place in Door County,
Everything takes
Everything
place in
takes
Door
place
County.
and these Tuesday, all-day training programs.
October to May, yeah.
October to May, do they move, or are they a specific
Yes.
location?
No,
Oh,
we
do
move.
they move?
They move a lot.
We do a lot of driving.
Do a lot of driving, yep.
Yes.
Yep. So yes, they're in Namur, they're in Ellison Bay, they're in Ephraim, they're in Sturgeon Bay, they're all over. I'm only sorry that we can't spend more time, last couple of years, any time, on Washington Island, because it is one day, and of course, logistics.
Would take so much
Yeah,
out
it
of your
takes,
day.
exactly. So we try to use that time as best we can. In fact, this year we used a van, so we were able to keep the class together for a couple of different session days. So the board representative for that day was their driver, and then the class members all together in the same vehicle, they could talk about what they had just learned, they could talk about their project,
Yes.
they could talk about what they were about to be learning. We found that it was time well used.
It facilitated that day. You
Yes.
didn't lose the time.
Didn't
you were
lose
in
the travel
in
time,
the traveling.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what other information do you have that's for interest of the community? Of how do you recruit people for Leadership Door County? How would someone want to apply for Leadership Door County?
Well, we're
or are
doing
they
that right
selected?
now.
Yes.
That's kind of one of the things we're
today.
doing, yeah. We would very much like for people to be thinking about joining next year's class for themselves, or perhaps they know of somebody, they've got somebody they're grooming for a senior management position, or they've got a particularly firecrackery employee that they would like to see get more involved in
someone
the
that just
community.
moved here as
Somebody
well.
just moved here, somebody who just retired here.
But also too, we have locals that are born and raised here, and they join our Leadership Door County class, and they learn so much about
They
the
do.
county they
They
never
say
knew.
that.
That's really, and that's
Yeah.
a great point. Thanks for
Yep.
bringing that up, Lori. I can't tell you how many people who
Yes.
have third, fourth generation, they thought, oh yeah, I'm going to Leadership Door County because my boss is sending me, and I already know everything. I already know everybody. They don't. They learn a lot.
Yeah.
We can always learn more about our community and the people that live in our area. When you get these groups together, do you solicit, or you try to get people to join? Do you solicit from employers? Is there outreach to employers to either have them present or have them send employees, or?
Presenting for sure. I mean, we call on
Indeed.
lots of wonderful people, too numerous to mention, to present at each of the sessions. They're very giving of their time. We have reached out to some of the larger employers to send people, and most of the time, there's a few employers that almost every year send someone.
Yep.
Because they're that dedicated to it. And then we use venues like this and our website and newsletters and just all of the board members talking to people and recruiting the next class.
As
you
well as
know.
alumni, they're always
Alumni,
thinking
yep.
who would be good to go through the program. Actually, that's how I
Yes.
showed up in the program, from an alumni.
So you have the website Leadership Door County, and people can request information via email through that, and the phone number is also published on the website.
As is the application for next year's class,
Oh.
and the list of the dates of each of the sessions, because, as you're
Yep.
thinking about this and making that time commitment, you're gonna have to carve it out in your calendar, so we've got all the dates there for you.
So when you're trying to get the employers involved, and are you doing that now? Are you looking for potential locations and employers for next year's program? Is that already started?
That's an ongoing things. We've got a good skeleton of the session,
Here it is.
of each of the sessions, and we do tweak things all the time, but we've got a good
Good
skeleton.
flow, yeah, there's a good flow with the actual session topics. They're held at different places sometimes each year, depending on who's available that day. You know, there's how many artists and artist guilds and places to go for, you know, art galleries. You can't go to all of them every year. So we trade off, we try and balance it as much as we can based on their availability. So the topics and the presenters come from all over the community. The employers come into play probably more in supporting and sending class members, I would say.
Okay, well, that's great. And how did you pick your design for your website and your design for your logo? Does anybody
Why,
recall how
yes,
this
as a
came
matter of
about?
fact,
I remember.
yes, when, in 1989, when we were first getting going, we were trying to think of a visual that would tie something having to do with water, since we are surrounded by water, and water is a very big part of the Door County experience, and what would convey the concept of looking forward. Well, I happened to see this graphic, and I thought, boy, that looks like it's pretty much what we want to do. So, we co-opted it.
It kind of looks like maybe Shakespeare or a Portuguese navigator kind
Well, I
of.
don't know if he's
navigator on a
Portuguese.
ship,
He might be Italian. I'm not really sure. But clearly, it's a navigator looking out on the horizon with his sextant. And yes, it is a guy. And
We did go around and around.
We did
in
go
a
around
joking,
about
funny
that.
way about the mustache, no mustache thing, but
No,
yeah,
okay.
it's just, we have fun doing what we do. Let's put it
I
that
can
way.
tell,
Yeah.
and I understand, and you don't always dress alike. This is not operation
No, there's
here.
not a uniform for
No,
leadership.
no,
for
So I
county.
made sure we all dressed up nice today,
Yes,
though.
yes.
But you have a very nice shirt.
The
Each
Leadership
class
Door County-
member gets one
That's
when
right.
they
Each
join.
class member gets one. And is there a fee for joining?
Why, yes, there is. There is tuition. Think of this as a course, like a college course. And it's $750, and that can be a little scary to some people. But we do have some financial assistance available. And over the years, we have been very successful in finding lots of different ways to help people not make that an issue. Sometimes it's somebody on the board or me having a chat with their boss saying, this person is really something, and you really need to invest a little something in them. How about you pony up for this much, and we'll pony up that much, and they'll pay this much. So we don't want the money to be an obstacle, but we do have some costs involved.
Yeah, and what kind of organization is Leadership Door County? Is it a not-for-profit?
Yes, we are 501c3.
Yep.
As we have been from the get-go.
And so then you must do fundraisers in order to get
We
some
do.
of the support for your organization and for your scholarships. Do you have one scheduled for this year?
Why, yes, we
Well,
do.
we're working on the date and we're working on the details, but we're kind of planning on, and last year in October, we had a mini golf tournament at the Red Putter, which was a lot of fun and fairly successful. This year, we're trying to ramp it up a little bit, and I don't want to give too much away, but I think it'll be a fun outdoor mini golf
Family-friendly.
masters tournament, however you want to call it. Just, family friendly. I think it'll be fun, but we're just in the planning stages of it
So
now.
stay tuned.
Okay, so instead of the green jackets, maybe somebody will get a blue
Windbreaker.
windbreaker.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
there you
possible.
go.
Yeah.
And you think what, maybe later in the summer? It's a little early.
Yeah, we're looking at
If summer ever comes.
any minute now.
Any minute now. 6 weeks, I understand it's summer solstice, whether we want it or
Oh,
not.
my
So
word.
there you
I
go.
know.
Well, have we covered everything you think to start? What else have we got,
I would
Lauren?
like to add,
Sure.
just since I'm in the class, the amount of connections that you make and the relationships that are established while you're in the class it's just immeasurable. To have people from all different areas of Door County coming together, we would never have met one another unless we were in this class together.
Yep.
And then, of course, getting to do the projects, we're spending a lot of time. We ride together in the vans, we see each other monthly, and we've now established friendships, but also business relationships.
Yes.
And if somebody is in a nonprofit and they're doing a fundraiser, we all go and support one another because now we have this relationship.
Yep.
So it's huge for for the leadership of Door County to have these networks. And then you just find this alliance that you have and this loyalty to one another.
Well, and the
To
way
me,
you
that's
put it
the
was,
biggest part of
was
all.
good, because it's people you wouldn't otherwise have
I
known.
would never have
And
known.
when I was in
Yeah.
the class, I was in the human service field. We all know each other. We all go to meetings together. People in, real estate agencies, they all know, so you have these pockets of people that sometimes work together, but sometimes don't have an opportunity. Just being in the class provides you an opportunity to not only meet people of all different ages, because really, early 20s to 60s.
70s, yeah.
70s, yeah. But learning how to work together with different skill sets and backgrounds and appreciating each other. I still use some of the contacts of the people that I was in the Leadership Door County class with, as well as the people who taught us. I still do, and it's been, years.
But we've all done that. We become comfortable with our
Sure,
circle of
In
friends.
your world,
Sometimes
yeah.
they call it a silo.
that's a good way.
Yeah, that is a good-
Where you're just in your little area and you don't know what's going on just 5 feet away because you're in that little vertical role thing.
And that's the whole idea behind community leadership programs. You got all these smart, motivated people who are doing wonderful work within their industry, within their
Or in their
silo.
silo.
In their silo. And then they get to become really close with a bunch of other folks who are smart and motivated and very knowledgeable about their silo. So everybody's silo
Yeah.
just got bigger.
Suddenly it's a mesh network.
You
It's
bet.
so great
You
because
bet.
suddenly you've got those connections to areas you might not have previously been aware of, or you didn't
Right.
know people there. So
It's
So
really
as,
true.
as people move through their professional careers, as they move through their personal careers, through their civic careers, they've not only got each other, their classmates with whom they've become very tight, and you hear that from every class. But you've also got all these folks that they took, that they were, had
that
as
must be the
presenters.
secret handshake.
That must be what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got all these great smart people who never knew each other before, and then they get together, they learn all this great stuff, they do a project, and there's just nothing they can't do going forward. There's just nothing you can't do.
Well, and then two other points that I'd like to make that I'm thinking about as we're talking. One is that there's no Leadership Door County agenda. There's truly no backstory. There's no thing we're trying to get out there other than what we're talking about.
A lot.
The
We're just trying to get
sessions-
a lot.
The sessions are presented by lots of different people. Not everybody in the class agrees with or necessarily, agrees with everything that they hear. It's not controversial in any way. It's just an exposure to lots of different points of view. The other suggestion I would have is to go on Google leadership programs. The Green Bay program is even more extensive and much more expensive than ours. We're a smaller community, so we're doing this, I think, on a pretty good budget and without overcharging people.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate that you have taken your time to come and share this information with us today. Gay Pustaver,
Thank you.
Lori Vorpahl, Anni Lampert,
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Victoria, for helping us
Yes.
get the
Thank you.
word
This
out.
is great. We're looking
and
forward to
you've
it.
been here and told us about Leadership Door County today. I am your host, Victoria Cerinich, and you have been watching Access Door County on Sevastopol Cable Channel. Access Door County is carried exclusively on Sevastopol TV, channel 986. Thank you for watching.